You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange, Sierra Leone. Orange.
Right, good morning and a special welcome to another edition of the Liberty Breakfast Show, where I come to you live na Liberty Television, now with Facebook, YouTube, and we websites. This program is powered by Orange, Sierra Leone. We are bring to you this edition of the program this morning. My name na Al-Hassan Kouma.
And me na Mabel Kaba. Good morning. And it's a beautiful morning, Al-Hassan. And I just want to take this opportunity to say many thanks to all we followers them na the different platform them also na they get Liberty Online TV. As early this week we be don't hit 100k followers across with social media platform them. We want to say we appreciate una, many thanks, and that's the really show say una stay glued to Liberty Online TV. We make every day we there so for una updates on issues them we get for do with public interest and thing them we una like for you. And this morning again not an exception, as this morning we also they can give una updates on different thing them we get for do with public interest issues them we I believe say you where they watch self go one forget updates on. And at this edition of the breakfast show today, the very first issue we go for can look at, we go for can give updates from the judiciary. As we see yesterday, the office of the president, a letter been commoded outside and suspend one of the Supreme Court judge them when our Justice Alan Alloway. Well, waiting at the reason behind the suspension, according to the letter we come out from State House and saying that the Judicial and Legal Council advised that the president suspend Justice Holloway. Waiting at the reason for this, you go for can know inside this edition of the breakfast show. And also we can look at Salon Democracy, of course. We this week again the National Commission for Democracy NCD together with them partner them being pulled the state of democracy assessments reports now do waiting this report here, so they say we go for a look at them as them cover different areas them we get for do with the media and democracy, political participation, political parties and democracy, and so many other areas them the reports cover about 10 different areas them we can look at the assessment report today as we go hear from NCD, and also we go get a representative from the All People's Congress APC party when at the main opposition for can talk about this reports we don't come out regarding the state of democracy in a salon. I believe say na interest story than the way many of you they watch this morning go want to know what's in the report say, what's in the recommendations them where they make. All of that we go for discuss na this edition of the breakfast show. And remember, say yourself where they watch can go put your message to the number +23274 200 545 or send them na the different platform them also on the watch we this morning. I tell you now we first forget updates from the judiciary for tell we the reason behind the suspension of one of the Supreme Court judge them when a Justice Holloway, as the release been come out yesterday from State House. We can look at that, and also we go gonna updates like I say on the issue we get for do with the National Commission for Democracy. We don't pull the assessment reports we then do na Salon for Seeker Democracy. But let me start first from the judiciary, as they get on the line the Director of Communications na the judiciary we na Elkas Sano Ateluna then don't suspend one of the Supreme Court judge them when a Justice Holloway. Good morning, Elkas Sano, and welcome to the breakfast show.
A blessed good morning, Sierra Leoneans. Good morning to Liberty TV Online.
All right, I just don't tell the viewers them one for start for talk about the issue we get for do with the suspension of Justice Holloway, when one of the Supreme Court judge them. But just a quick background quickly before we come talk to you, Elkas. Early this month, we been see information at the media outside Justice Holloway been raised concerns them regarding issues where they get with Justice Comeback Commander. We it raised several issues them inside that particular information we come to the public. It say one, it be done withhold in allowances them. According to Ram, it say it not been well, and that allowance they be make not able for go get in medical, in essential supplies them. It say the judicial be also don't put a stop to Ram. It say them be unconstitutionally remove them from in duty. Well, like it been like it not be the work against self. According to Ram, inside that information we reach the media, and also we see a letter where it been right. Usai they ask for let them set up a formal request for a judicial ethics committee. We go look inside the allegations them we get against the Chief Justice, and up to the time where we see a letter come out with advice from the Judicial and Legal Council. We not be done here if them be done respond to Justice Holloway in request where it be make for investigate the allegations them where it be make against the Chief Justice Comeback Commander. Firstly, as the Director of Communications na the Judiciary, just starts for share with the public if then concern Nyawa at talk about so been there to the notice of the Judiciary of Sierra Leone say there is an ongoing issue where been there between Justice Comeback Commander and that of Justice Holloway. Una be aware?
Say issue there between them.
Yes.
Now, if you like when you make reference to the letter, in that letter, a copy the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, and by copy it means they are in receipt of the concerns them we erase.
So una aware of the concerns them we erased against the Chief Justice when a Justice Comeback Commander like you say.
Yeah, now that I say, he addressed the letter to and copy the Judicial and Legal Service Commission as he copied them as sure man look in the letter we send. If he been copy them, then I should say copy them. I don't know if I get the letter before now because I know we to come off.
So he copy His Excellency the President, he copy the Vice President, he copy the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, he copy the Chief Minister, a whole lot of other people. He copy 18 people and to be specific. We include the Executive Director for different body them where they work with law. And also, a copy Justice Regina Finn, a copy Justice Ekunda Roberts. Anyway, a copy on everybody we get for do with the justice system. A copy them all in this particular letter.
Yes, I think he addressed the letter to the Honorable Chief Justice. I just opened the letter now. He addressed the letter to the Honorable Chief Justice on the 11th August 2015. And the Honorable Chief Justice, being the head of the Judiciary, also now the chairman for Judicial and Legal Service Commission.
So after we a copy them people here this letter, any response be don't come to Justice Holloway regarding the allegations that we make against Justice Comeback Commander? Because according to Ram, all of the allegations and the way he make, not seen them way he believes say na Justice Comeback Commander do to Ram.
If you watch the suspension letter, we come off from the president, they make reference to the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, which should say they sit down and meet on the 5th of September. And at the end of the day, they recommend, and inside the letter, we in suspension letter. I should say we also get in suspension letter.
Yes,
So
in suspension letter day.
Yes, so it means it has been procedural, the action where they don't take against them within the remit of the law. But what thing basically I want to clarify here is at this point in time, he has been suspended by the president, and then there's pending the outcome of a disciplinary tribunal. We will therefore investigate in conduct. And because disciplinary tribunal therefore investigate in conduct, that will be our position for now. When the tribunal, the outcome of the tribunal, will able position me well, so that I'm not going to talk for prejudice the investigation. But what I'm a family when they listen to me, now that this decision for then don't suspend the learned Supreme Court Judge, His Lordship Honorable Justice Alan B. Alwell, just like where President Nkrumah himself been suspended in 2010 in the same month of September for similar conduct, which is referred to as professional misconduct. So in 2010, President Nkrumah also been therefore suspended, and when
Elkas, we go talk about in suspension in 2010. Waiting with the ask here now the suspension in 2025 we happen yesterday where press release come out State House where they indicate say they suspend them. Waiting at the reason behind this in suspension of this week.
I just don't tell you say, I tell you say, yes, he wrote a letter addressed to the Honorable Chief Justice. Where same way so now the chairman for the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. The Judicial and Legal Service Commission being therefore sit on the 5th of September 2025, and we get for do with that concern or in conduct, the conduct of the Supreme Court judge. After which they mean therefore recommend or write to the president, because the Judicial and Legal Service Commission now then they regulate the conduct of all the benches, including every staff now the judiciary. So the president, like I say, being act on section 137 subsection 6 of the 1991 Constitution, Act number 6 of 1991, and act within based on the advice where the Judicial Legal Service Commission give, where it come from the outcome of this meeting, I will tell you what, that make them in for suspend them, and in suspension, they continue at the moment where the disciplinary tribunal they look at in conduct. Then at the end of the day, then we will give further directive or further recommendation as to what's in at the next line of action against the learned Supreme Court judge. According
to you, then be hold a meeting regarding in conduct will lead to this in suspension. In this case, waiting at this conduct of will lead to the suspension.
For now, like I say, because they not set a tribunal where therefore watch into in conduct, after which
this conduct now waiting it do.
Now they tell you so. The Judicial and Legal Service Commission look into in conduct. Waiting at this conduct here. Anything we get for do with the code of ethics of every staff, every judge, the Judicial Legal Service Commission, and then they look into them. On the issue of waiting at some of these allegations there, or because now that basically they ask.
Yes.
I want make the public patient until the outcome of the disciplinary tribunal when they not set. Then I can come now outline everything. Then the public will understand exactly what happened and waiting at the conduct and waiting at the recommendation or waiting at the decision of the tribunal where they not set up. Because mark you, everything where we do, we want make it be procedural, make it be within the remit of the law. So whatever thing where they talk here, now for make it be within the remit of the law.
In as much as
out of the outcome, I can come now. I get the letter in my hand. I sit on a television or I sit on Utuna. Then I explain everything for educate the public. What to make this happen and waiting at the decision.
We know say a tribunal don't be set up for look at this issue where we know in any way they go into waiting then they investigate currently. But like how you be they explain, initially there was a meeting where they hold because of inconduct before they advise the president for send them on suspension. Now that meeting they are they ask you but primarily waiting have been the reason we make them hold that meeting regarding in conduct. We know they go into the tribunal yet.
The meeting get for do with the action or inaction of the the conduct of the learned Supreme Court judge. The letter I got for do with the conduct of the Supreme Court judge. So I not been there at the meeting, basically. The waiting go get for empower me, waiting go for capacitate me, for talk to owner with that kind of authority. Now when the disciplinary committee go down actually sit down and meet and then conclusion or recommendation, everything they get for outline. And waiting they arrive at, they need to come now to the public and tell them, say that this ABC reasons will be happen and that this is the outcome.
So, Eklas, you mentioned earlier on certain section of the Constitution, we now section 1376 of the 1991 Constitution, Act number 6, we give the president the rights or power for suspend the Supreme Court judge. Explain to the public within that particular section there of the Constitution they're about.
The provision what I just cite, where you just see 137 subsection 6 of the 1991 Constitution. The president where no more gets the power. That provision, they talk about the power where the president gets based on the advice where the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. The Judicial Legal Service Commission is established by the very Constitution for regulate regulate the judiciary, especially the activities or conduct of all judges, including support staff of the judiciary. So, based on the advice, this provision, now in give the president the power for suspend any judge. Because I want you know say, somebody when judge, they just grab no more. You suspend them. Nobody gets the power for just grab and suspend the judge without any reason. And the only person who gets the power for do that, based on that provision, now the president acting on the advice. That provision they say the Judicial Legal Service Commission can recommend.
That is very clear, Elkas. That is very clear because even the letter we come out states and clearly they say now advice where the president gets from this commission make it is send them on suspension while then
not to only advise, but that provision give the president power.
That is very clear. Waiting not clear now, yeah. This person in question, Justice Holloway, now the person this will write letter for complaint. Now the person this will make allegations them against the Chief Justice. Very huge allegations. When I in request back say them for set up committee for investigate and complain them where it don't lay. Then are the same person where they don't send on suspension. When I that answer the public wants for no waiting lead to in suspension. When I in the complaint, then I in go on suspension.
Now I think with the merry-go-round they do, because basically I just don't talk. Say when the tribunal, disciplinary tribunal, the outcome of the disciplinary tribunal, like incapacitates me for able to explain all of this.
Is it anything we get for do with misconduct?
Say again.
Is it anything we get for do with professional misconduct from Justice Holloway inside?
The very fact say they don't suspend them now. The way they look into in conduct, now it gets to do with in conduct, whether in conduct being professional or whether it not being professional. The disciplinary tribunal where they don't set up, now then they look into all that. Then when they don't done, then Nicky will come now for say in conduct be unprofessional or not be unprofessional.
Waiting it do.
I'm not a member of the Judicial Legal Service Commission. I speak on behalf of the judiciary. I speak on behalf of the Honorable Chief Justice. So, which is why I am stating the position as it is currently.
So this gets
pending the outcome of the tribunal where where they don't set up for look at in the conduct of the learned Supreme Court judge. Thereafter, they come again for able to inform the public accordingly, waiting now the thing where it do and waiting make they arrive at this decision.
Elkas, this gets anything for do with the complaint them and allegations where they make against Justice Commander Wakam public. This investigation gets anything for do with that, the information the Wakam public?
As I say, I go furnish now based on the outcome, because I don't want to prejudice the outcome of the investigation where they don't set up now. Of course, when I say know that they say it will be very much unprofessional on the side for able prejudice an investigation, a disciplinary tribunal where they don't set up for talk on the disciplinary tribunal, because there is no way I will talk on that without touching on the disciplinary tribunal. I must touch on that. So therefore, for be very much professional, I want to family and patient. I want to also patient with we. When the tribunal done, then go tell we exactly what in conduct. Then they will tell we what in the recommendation. Then that and then I can come now and talk to the public.
So at last, Justice Holloway they on suspension now. So and there's been a tribunal where they don't set up for look into the conduct of the justice so far with they on suspension. Tell family how long this investigation will take.
The investigation now in suspension now, the indefinite from now until you go through the due process. Then you go then give them the opportunity now for meet with the disciplinary tribunal where go last as soon as we go and the tribunal will sit immediately and finish the investigation, and at the end of the day, then put them information together, put them facts together, and recommend. Then from there, that will determine the position of the learned Supreme Court judge.
So the reason why we link you this morning for give the public updates regarding the suspension of Justice Holloway. Now for let we make certain things clear. One gets for do with they cannot suspend you without telling you say XYZ. Now the reason this will make they send you on suspension. The letter will come from State House was not clear. The letter we see again from the commission, not clear for this specific reason as to why he's going on suspension. Because if there's an investigation going on, there must be a reason we make this investigation they go on. Earlier I been asked you, but the concerns them we been raised, we come public against the Chief Justice, and you say the letter been reached. We make the public interested for no. Waiting at the allegation where they investigate Justice Holloway for, we make it go on suspension.
Yes, you question quite legally in place, but like I say, you don't in fact justify, like what you say, they don't set up the disciplinary tribunal, and whether now that letter we write. It shows that the matter not done it. So I will only get that kind of authority for speak on the matter that has been concluded.
Waiting at the matter. Waiting at the matter. Now the matter no more the public need for no. Waiting at the matter within they investigate.
The outcome, I tell you say, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, they meet on the 5th of September. They meet, they recommend to the president. Then they don't decide say we they set up a disciplinary tribunal. The outcome of that, in no profession. The reason why they meet and what make them come at come at this decision. All that I will get for explain at the end of the decision where the disciplinary tribunal will come with. But for now, if I say anything that for prejudice the outcome of the investigation,
right.
And the information we I get right now that whatever thing where the public want know that's available to me.
But A-class, the president take this A-class, A-class, the president take this decision based on the legal advice we get, and waiting now the main point, because we just go back and forth on this particular issue. Waiting at the main reason, because if the president take a decision for suspend a Supreme Court judge, there must be a reason where the legal team don't get advice to the presidency. This now XYZ where this offense where this particular judge commits. So you get to take this particular decision. But for now, the public just stands without the best information from the judiciary as of waiting at the main reason.
You say this is okay, mama set and clear. I don't tell you say I am not a member of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. I will only be capacitated for talk to the public on this based on the outcome of this, on the outcome of the disciplinary tribunal. We go don't give me, we go don't capacitate me for inform the public accordingly.
Okay.
That is my position.
Okay, that's clear, Elkas. That's your position. So let me just look at a broad scenario here. Now the judiciary of Sierra Leone. Now waiting can lead on a normal day. Waiting they lead to the suspension of a Supreme Court judge.
By conduct, the code of conduct where the judiciary gets. The one reason where can make the Judicial and Legal Service Commission can investigate na
suspend.
unprofessional
Wetin dey make
misconduct.
dem suspend a Supreme Court judge on a normal day na the judiciary? Wetin dey make dem suspend a Supreme Court judge?
Anything wey go contrary to the code of ethics.
Wetin the code of ethics dey say?
You for conduct yourself in accordance with best practice. That is to say, if we able to hold the sanctity of the profession, that is the bench. If we able serve on the bench with integrity. If we able make sure say you conduct for always be professional. As it is now, I not get the code with me, but from the surface, that's now waiting the code of practice to tell you.
So it possible say
with me now, I for be non-quote and verbatim.
So it possible say now one of them thing that we talk about Justice Holloway go down break. We make a day on suspension.
1 minute remaining.
Hello?
It possible say now one of them thing that we make mention of, so it go down breach, we make it go on suspension.
Because we not a member of the Judicial Legal Service Commission,
All right.
I'm not going to justify that now.
All right.
Pending the outcome of the tribunal, disciplinary tribunal.
All right. Many thanks where you join me this morning. That's na Elkas Sano. We na the communications director na the judiciary of Sierra Leone. We actually been call him when we see that notice and tell him say we go one for let it tell the public the reason behind the suspension of Justice Holloway. Well, that's not the position of the judiciary according to them until the tribunal where they don't set up bring come a report. They not go able for confirm waiting at the specific reason we make Justice Holloway go on suspension. We let's forget a colleague journalist quickly. We want for get few comments them for make regarding this particular issue. We na Melvin Tijan Mansari. We let's forget him on the phone now. We go quickly get in your comments and opinion regarding this whole issue on the suspension of Justice Holloway. And members say later in the program we go for can talk about the state of democracy assessment reports we don't come out for salon. Let we just join Melvin Tijan Mansari on the phone now as we go get some forgetting opinion regarding this particular matter as Justice Holloway with effective immediate day on suspension currently. Good morning, Melvin Tijan Mansari, and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
All right, we just don't talk to the Director of Communications now, the judiciary. We're not able to give the public yet specific reason as to why the president with advice from the Judicial and Legal Council been sent Justice Holloway on suspension. Firstly, you're a journalist and a social commentator. What's in the makeup of the decision of sending a Supreme Court judge on suspension where the public has been suspended because no specific reason or day for in suspension? And we see early this month, Justice Holloway been write a letter, also make a lot of allegations them against the Chief Justice. Now it don't go on suspension. What do you make up of this? Hello, Melvin. Hello. Yes, Melvin, we get you.
Hello?
Yes, Melvin, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mabel. Although the line a bit patchy, I don't know if you get me.
We get you loud and clear.
All right. So, firstly, I listen also. Thank you so much for bringing this. I'll call them a breaking, developing story. And the Supreme Law is Google for courts. Now, Section 137, subsection 4 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. And as soon as it's time for Grillam on what could have been the reason or what is the reason, the Constitution of Sierra Leone is very clear as to why and how a judge of... So if you permit me, I will read Section 137, subsection 4 of the National Constitution. It says, subject to the provisions of this section, a judge of the Superior Court of Judicature may be removed from office only for inability to perform the functions of his office, whether arising from infirmity of body or mind, or for statement misconduct, maybe underline, for statement misconduct, and shall not be so removed save in accordance with the provisions of this section. So, what could have been the reason? It is my suspicion that probably they are going to say, like Lara Taylor Pierce, professional misconduct, allegedly for statement of misconduct. And like you rightly alluded to, he put out Judge Alloway put out a lengthy statement accusing the Chief Justice, but also saying that he would defend in rights. I'm sure it's what the Constitution says, and we don't say a not sick. So the question, I'm afraid the answer will lie on the fact that he put out a statement, and some of those statements are going to be perceived as statements of misconduct. But there are other more important issues around, firstly, the procedure used. The law of natural justice say you know the put person on trial where you don't know waiting na the crime where he commits allegedly. So in this case, the judiciary where forbid the arbiter and the Supreme Court where forbid the highest arbiter of justice seemingly is violating the law of natural justice, like they did for Lara Taylor Pierce, or like they did for Melvin in the case of Parliament, so on in the case of Judge Alloway without telling him what he's done wrong. However, again, if you look at what, yes.
So you better talk about some of the issues that surrounding Alloway, where he talk about certain issues that where you feel say probably could be issue we get for do with misconduct. What is specifically you feel say now some of the outstances we probably go don't say?
Absolutely. If you look at the content of the Judge Alloway letter, you see several allegations where, unfortunately, instead of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission coming out to say, oh, we are instituting an investigation on the Chief Justice over some of these issues, unfortunately, it is the reverse that we are seeing. So that in itself is a double standard of justice, because if somebody is accusing, another person is placed on suspension, and let's underscore, the suspension they lead to the road for removal. So for the fact that it's been considered for suspension, the onus now is upon, again, this shall establish whether it should be removed or not removed and recommend back to the president. So again, this whole process seems to be procedurally, not in tandem with some of the provisions in the Constitution, especially 137 subsection 6 as the cite term, because it's very clear as to the procedure that is to be used. And firstly, it should be from office has been referred to a tribunal under subsection 5. In this case, we don't know.
Hello.
And finding, and it's just under a month. And the law says the president may suspend. So should it be suspension before tribunal or after tribunal? That is.
Hello, Melvin.
Yes.
You want for change your location. We seem for the get interruption from your side. You still watch the breakfast show where they come to you live na Liberty Online TV, and we get on the phone a colleague journalist and social commentator when Melvin Tijan Mansare. They make some comments regarding the suspension of Justice Alloway. You they get to Melvin?
Yes, I get to now. I don't know if the reception is good now.
So yes, sure, perfect. At this stage, could this be another possible case repeating itself regarding similar thing where happened to Lara Taylor Pierce based on the signals them we already done the see? Because at this stage, the judiciary not able to tell the public the reason we make Justice Holloway they go on suspension. And this is one big question where plenty people don't they ask. You cannot send somebody on suspension without stating the reason.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you. Under this government, this is another dangerous precedent that is about to be set. Like Lara Taylor Pierce. Let's go back to 1967. We had a similar kind of situation in which Justice Okoro Cole was removed. And he was removed and sent to as permanent representative. And by then, Shekhar Stevens was seriously criticized. And unfortunately, like APC, like SLPP, APC in the 67 and SLPP in 2025, they are just repeating same old mistakes that they know, unfortunately, will lead to a lot of controversy.
But Melvin, could this be a pattern? Could this be a pattern? Because no sooner this letter come out public yesterday, people go dig up the same letter we been come again in 2010 under former President Koroma. We been suspend this same judge within this same September period. Could this be a pattern where reason not they come out, but then they send them on suspension?
Yeah, it's a very, very unfortunate pattern. And it's good that you mentioned that, because I think it was around 2010. By then, Justice Alusain and this same Justice Allowell were also facing a similar kind of situation. So it's unfortunate that this Justice Allowell is always, as per the two precedents, don't be a victim under two. Well, I would say different administrations. One into again, that will send a message that perhaps as journalists we will look as to the conduct professionally of this judge now under suspension, but also the dangerous precedent being set that natural justice has not been respected, because natural justice say for anything the accused person of or investigate them for, you for know the person for know waiting he do. In this case, previous government since the 67 to now are still repeating it. And it's unfortunate that whenever somebody speak out or speak truth to power, these are going to be some of the consequences.
All right, Melvin, many thanks for you joining me this morning. It's unfortunate we get issues with the connection, but like you say, this is a developing story where definitely Liberty TV will continue for look at. Thank you for you joining me this morning.
Right.
All right, well, that's now a colleague, journalist, and a social commentator, Melvin Tijan Mansari, will be the give short commentary regarding the suspension of Justice Holloway. We go find time for dig up more into this particular issue. As we tell you now today at the breakfast show, we go for can talk about the State of Democracy Assessment Report, where just don't come out. The National Commission for Democracy and then partner them just don't pull out. And Monday way past Sona being International Democracy Day. And then pull this report for assess 10 different areas. Then they look at the media, they look at political participation, and so many other areas they would then cover regarding these reports, and then we make recommendations. Them we go get for can look at the reports, waiting at them findings, and all of that we did discuss now the program this morning. And a pleasure for welcome now the studio for talk this. Reverend Jibrila Kagbo, we are the Director of Communications and Public Relations, now the National Commission for Democracy. Good morning, welcome to the breakfast show.
Good morning and thanks for hosting me.
We also get Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara from the All People's Congress APC Party. Good morning and welcome to the breakfast show.
Good morning.
All right, we go just start with the NCD communications man, we in a Reverend Kagbo, for lay the premise of this discussion, because na una partner them do this particular report, also wanna assess the state of democracy in the country, wanna cover 10 different areas, them look at the media, wanna look at political participation, wanna look at free and fair elections, and so many other areas. Them firstly, just take the viewers them through the methodology we wanna use for do the assessment before we can look at the details.
Plenty, thank you for the opportunity. As a commission, by virtue of we mandate, we the assess for the attention of government and any other stakeholder, waiting the gaps they will get inside with democracy. And the last time in 2018, we do one. And again, this 2025, we don't do another one. Now, for this one, methodology where we follow, a day in line with what you call the State of Democracy Assessment Framework, where international idea they use. Now, somebody go ask why that particular framework, and because when we're ready for do this research or study, we approach international idea and we ask for more support we make we do what we're supposed to do as per we mandate. And so in discussions, signing MOU, etc., we get to that point to say, okay, now the framework we use, we don't use several years now for do what we call the global state of democracy. Interestingly, that report is also out, the global one. But we do one way they reflect Sierra Leone state of democracy. So using that framework, training was done for enumerators. We move now all of the 16 districts and then do what we call focus group discussion, mainly for the enumerators, and then all the research experts then undertake what we call key informant interviews, followed by a review of secondary data. So with all of those put together, we're able to get the first draft, where we review internally as a commission and with the support of international idea as well, because what happened, we identify several research firms and then go through some kind of process, and eventually we get IGR win and then do the field work for we. But it involves training staff of NCD as well. When they go out and gather the data, we get that first draft, we review them, then send a second draft, we do a review as well, and eventually we go to a validation. We involve several stakeholders, and central to that, now the steering committee, whom we don't put together at the commencement of this work, for make sure say we get several other players were involved, and the co-chair. Now that's that steering committee at the University of Sierra Leone. We inside we get Statistics Sierra Leone, all the players, parliaments, some ministries, you get CSOs, they all inside a steering committee. So we've all been working together. We eventually do a validation and then launch the report on September 15, which was Monday.
So based on that particular information we don't get on the methodology when I use for do the assessment, at this stage, the findings was you hold with you, and based on that findings, say how you go describe the state of democracy in a salon currently.
I will put it this way, say we don't make strides. Efforts are being made, noting that democracy is a process, not an event. But even with the strides and efforts we make, we still get challenges in with democracy.
We get challenges in the democracy.
Definitely, there are several challenges, issues where the reporters have raised. Under all of the 10 categories that we will talk about. So,
what's the challenge in the democracy in a salon currently?
Make a try for be exact and take you through some of them. Number one, under political parties and democratic culture, we say we get weak internal democracy within political parties. That's the one thing where the research find out. We also get ethnic and regional loyalty over policy-based platforms. They will get rampant disregard for campaign finance goals. These are some of the issues under political parties and democratic culture. If you count elections and electoral integrity, we see say in our own case, whilst in other countries you get low voter turnout, when we elections then come, we see high voter turnout, people they rush for come vote. But every term after them announce results, contestation the day. Now one thing that we will find out. Then we also see say we get limited access to voter registration in polling centers. And the other thing under that category, we get lack of transparency in vote tabulation. The research find out all about that. When it comes to media and civic engagement, we see say media independence is compromised by political patronage. We get limited access to diverse media outside urban centers. And then we see the rise of misinformation and hate speech on social media. Under the rule of law and justice, we find out, say, there is perceived bias and corruption in the judiciary. Then we also get long pre-trial detentions and unequal access to justice. And we find out, say, customary laws, they often clash with human rights norms.
Reverend,
yes.
Talking about democracy and this assessment we una do, and we look at the current state of democracy, you just don't say challenges there, which is obvious, challenges there, but we can't talk about the state of democracy in a salon without making mention of principles of democracy. From una findings we una do, when we talk about principles of democracy, issues we get for do with citizens' participation, freedom of associations, issues them we get for do with transparency, accountability. Waiting on a report they say now the state of renting here currently, because then principles are now one way you can't ride along with democracy if you know they observe them. Definitely.
If you listen to the things already itemized, now they all then cover so under the principle you raise, so whether representation, participation, but make I take one other category, civil society and participation. What's in the report they say? It says CSOs, they are vulnerable to political cooptation. In other words, one moment you go see somebody, they sound vibrant, the next moment you see go quiet because sometimes one side don't call them. You don't decide, say, well, you know, I go align with this side. That now once you come in at the report. Then we also talk about shrinking civic space due to regulatory burdens. That because of how then they tighten the schools in the operations of some of them organizations also, restriction on there now. The civic space don't become limited.
Say then they tighten. Who that's them they tighten in this space?
Of course, when we talk about laws in this country, Parliament they make laws, then delegate some of their responsibility to MDAs for make regulations. So you know side they come out. From government side, now they report, they say from findings where people then talk, now this then they say. And we also see by the reports in findings that we get limited youth and women representation in decision making. They applaud the fact say by the 2023 election we see Parliament the number rise, and we see efforts being made even in local government, but generally across MDAs we are yet to see that reflected. So the report also they talk about that. Now
Reverend, you don't talk about key different areas the way the report talk about on these states of with democracy, the issues we got for do with elections, accountability, we got for do with also the rule of law, and also organs them way they run government, like you mentioned about Parliament, we they set the stage for big laws across the country. How you go able to assess with democracy? Because all the reports touch on different areas, then the media, the civil society organization, there are big problems in those institutions. So how you assess the states of democracy percentage wise? Is it that the country need to practice that actual democracy?
No, for response to that question there, they go back to the emphasis of real methodology. Every group, when they do the research, then get a niche, then get the emphasis. What we do at this one, if you eventually when you get the full report, you will realize say we want emphasis not more on the figures for beginning put percentage. We want emphasis now what you will call qualitative research. We want for you what the people and they say, what are the people and views. And at the end of the day, now that we analyze. So we know this research not they come and give you percentage.
So progress day in the democracy of Salon before they come to Honorable AKK. Progress day.
That was where I started. We get some gains, but there are still challenges we will need for work on.
The challenges then supersede the gains.
Well, it's a mixed bag. It's rather a kind of tight balance. But of course, with the challenges that we do, it still means that we still for work more for make with democracy, make the kind progress we for make.
Because from what me assess from the report touch different key areas and institutions them. We mean say there is a big gap which you got the country for able to reach to that threshold of practicing the democracy. Like what Mabel mentioned about the issue, whether there is a gains or whether we get more challenges than so far with regards to the democracy.
My point remains the same. Say we don't make some gains, but there are still challenges we need for pay attention to, and that is why again I continue to emphasize the approach to we own research. This time we not go around for begin tell people and say now we get all the sense and this one for do. When we don't indicate how we go about for gather we own information or data and state the findings them in all of those areas 10 to be precise, we now get critical governance questions that we will ask where we relate to different institutions, state institutions. We mean say it's again comes to what we call a collective national endeavor for make we all work together and push with democracy go before. So it means a parliament, for instance, get a role for play. MDs then get a role for play. CSOs as well, media institutions, we all get a role for play for take with democracy to that point of what you call democratic consolidation.
All right, Reverend Kabo, we will come to you. So let me just bring in Honorable Abdul Karim Kamara from the All People's Congress APC party. I guess instead don't go through this one report, but we just want to see what's in the report they say if they speak to the actual things them where they happen now the country because now the assessments on do but the state of democracy in Salon. Honorable AKK, based on what you see now the reports, how you go describe the state of democracy from your perspective? Because we don't hear from Reverend, it's a mixed bag based on waiting them fair not from the assessments we didn't do. Waiting go be your description of current Salon democracy.
May God help we. This don't come from prayer. On a more serious note, I would say issues have been raised. Of course, I not expect the report for Terry in every area why this issue for be raised, why not this, not the findings, but then we'll come out and give a bullet point as I see that in summary on say, okay, there is challenges in parliament, members of parliament know they can't walk, people they feel say the MPs know they represent them well, people they think say parliament know they do justice to oversight. Again, my only question where I go perhaps they ask myself is, were these findings communicated to institutions? Like where they say the media is being polarized, the media is being, the effectiveness of the media, where their engagement with Sludge for able to get their own side of the story, because that keeps the conversation a bit balanced. When you talk about the judiciary and the challenges within the judiciary, were you able to meet with them? Because with me, time I don't spend small at the political space and the issue I don't do, you come to a point that sometimes you blame institutions from what you see out, but when you go in depth, you understand, you understand, say no, it's not just their fault. Like the report we then do so now, NCD, these are supposed to be yearly reports, right?
Well, for now we look at biannual.
Biannual. So
after every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So meaning in that alone, it's difficult for you to come with a comprehensive analysis of a yearly data of the state of democracy, because you have to drag the issues back for you to get all of them one day. But one thing I could say, when I one of a major challenge of democracy when it comes to even the governance institutional frameworks of this country and the lack of funding for the institutions in the one of the major challenge I would tell you, even when you talk about the judiciary today, so recently, as within the last 6 months, I don't do a long, when I was human rights chairman at parliament, I don't do a long research to tell you say some of the cases that would even get to the delay in the courts now because some region they now want photocopier day. So you begin imagine say if the judiciary can only have one photocopier inside the areas, you imagine the kind of burden way down the cause. And so because of just photocopier, which of course they stage 15,000 people and they spend 6-7 months on delayed justice. Again, you cannot blame the judiciary solely on that. You also have to look at the way finances are being disbursed to institutions. You look at major, like even most of the we human rights architectures that are now current in the country with democracy institutions are being run by donors. If you look at what the government they allocate for them as a state, you begin to ask yourself, are we really serious about running our democracy? Because these are institutions we continuously they rate with democracy and we continuously get yearly reports on democracy. After saying that, I would tell you, say the state of democracy, well, me not to one person believe say we are even growing. We've actually left the state of democracy ever since 2018, and we find ourselves in a state where we are slowly coming back to democratic tracks because democracy is not just about voting. When you talk about basically in the report and they talk about political parties and it do free and fair elections, for example, they already tell the report not say anything about political violence during elections. For me, this has been a bottleneck for we as a party, year in, year out, and from 1996 to date, we've not found ourselves as a political party wherein they conduct one elections in a whole regions will not they get party observers. Why? Because maybe 2 or 3 days to elections, then we don't burn with party office day, then we don't attack we supporters them, then we don't attack with chairperson, then we don't kill person for we, and we people will be left in a state of total panic.
So is it only the Old People's Congress that don't they happen to? Because you mentioned from 1996 to now where we don't conduct elections across the country.
Okay, again, this is where I will make them very clear. Not to just the All People's Congress, it don't happen to, but we don't suffer the huge and the worst part of them. There has never been a point in this history who say they don't stop somebody for serve even the REFP now Western area or now the North where they consider as in our APC strongholds. But this has been a pattern, a constant pattern. So for let the report totally silence about that one day. It should say we don't also get we own findings them way. Most of the years we can say if you look at I remember what we did do the Public Election Act. I said this in the Well of Parliament. If you look at the voter turnout now the Southeast, it's greater than the total voter turnout now the North and Western area. It's simple. Not because the people there are coming out to vote in the mass numbers. When they look at the ward allocation of polling centers, where in the North normally they get like 5 to 7 stations in the ward. In some other parts of the country, they get 14 to 15 polling stations in the ward. So again, these are some of the basic things so they look at. We also get reports in certain areas in this country, people don't even show up for votes, but the voter turnout, they show say you get 80 to 90% of voter turnout. Where even when the people are not, they show face na the ballot na the centers. But this is being failed on the basic facts, say, like in Moyamba by 2018, before the elections, our party office right at the Moyamba Junction was burnt down. People were chased. And so if you talk about the state of democracy and free and fair elections, and that one is being totally omitted from the report some kind of way, then at the beginning to say, I think we need to include that maybe in the next report, because that is where the state of democracy starts, when the citizens begin feel say they are being intimidated. Again, you talk about the state of the media, but also the report is silent about media practitioners where state functionaries don't bully over the years, don't beat, don't send our police cells, because I cannot continue as a media person. I was a media person by 2005, 2007, and I know it will go through during that period. The way you dig up in the morning before they reach standard times, they tell say, and the whole of this other station newspaper, I don't go get all the journalists in there for waiting. They say one publication they do last week. By the time they know, they don't go get that down in the back. If you create that kind of fear in journalists, again, the journalists and the media people are also parents. They also get a life for life. They cannot continuously subject their lives to continuous ridicule. But again, if this report is silent about that, we have to begin to look at beyond just what the perceptions of people say. And when we do that one day, with the help for build democracy, not just from a point of view where we will bring out the odds. Like you say, okay, for example, I saw the report on Parliament. I must confess, say, yes, this current Parliament will get under this PR system. Again, I not see you talk about the state of democracy, you not talk about the state of election process. We not talk about the forms of elections. Democracy is a direct representation of people, but in a state where you omit the people, you understand, from the choice of having who represents them, then if I'm here, the effectiveness way the MPs and get to a constituency is different from the way they get now to a district, because in a district you're talking about a vast area. So if me not come on a certain areas, think about it like if you ask the same question to people where between Congo Ata to Congo Cross Naya, then go tell you say their MPs are not effective. In actual sense,
Reverend, some of them concerns here with the race, but side the way you believe so they be omitted from the report. Ego can't talk with to make perhaps not just consideration and not being get into them. But one serious thing you want to let you throw light on, if we talk about democracy, the 7th point in the reports, they talk about civil and political liberties. Also, they indict the police, say the persistent refusal of the police to allow people to protest or demonstrate is seen as a significant curtailment on freedom of expression and assembly, and one of which correspondents identified as an attempt by the states and its agents to limit constitutional rights. You think, say, then why a serious threat to democracy where Salon they ignore?
Okay, democracy all over the world now the freedom of the people for speak. Democracy all over the world now the freedom of the people for choose who that they want for represent them. In this part of the world where we find ourselves, the people's actual democracy is limited to the day they vote. After the day of voting, majority of the other thing where they enjoy as liberty has been taken away from them. Mabel, I don't say this over and over, and I will continue to say this even if APC didn't have power. I'll continue to say this. If you stop the citizens from expressing their voices, you stop the citizens from protests and forget them a way for vent out their anger, you're only preparing a state of total chaos in the minds of the citizens. Waiting protests normally they do is they bring the people, you understand, and the government to a point of discussion. We don't see like Kenya, then get a culture of most times taking up to the street when then things say, waiting happen at Kenya, and waiting happen there, it was done waiting be happen at Kenya. Kenya, it was just a then past budget. The budget therefore affect the people in terms of taxation. We've passed many budgets here we for do taxations. If I don't pass budget as recent as 2023 budget, we talk about increments in iron ore, cement, yes. Waiting, in fact, if I wasn't interested in that budget, they'll pass. Who pass the Finance Act? Now, after 1 year, who pass, and at the end, the media begin to talk about them. So people they call it, hey, now I don't go pass this kind of law. Say when we were debating this law and we were telling government it was wrong, nobody seemingly come to for understand and report the matter. So if you limit the freedom of the people, it boils down again to the fact, say, we have to ask ourselves sincere questions. Is the appointment of the Inspector General that is left at the behest of the president, does that make the police a perfect force? Some of them concerns how they can, and also concerns how we don't raise as a party. Now the tripartite. So the whole thing about our current state of democracy is fully embedded in what we call the 84 recommendation, the 80 recommendations of the tripartite. When they are implemented with sincerity, when they are implemented with us and the political class believing that some of the issues the way we get today before we go affect we one way or the other, depending on who's you team up in the equation, then we begin get a state where we really prepare our country for democratic gains. Let me say this. I don't continue for CM and I say I'm back. The country's democracy and democratic credential, they prepare for two things: economic buoyancy. No state, no country, no businessman, no the one do business with a state where the judiciary is deemed corrupt. No country, no business person, no the one do a business with another country where no say in transition of power from one political party to the other is being done in a jungle justice manner. No businessman no go put investment na a country where when government change, the other party go just come. It cancel all contracts.
Is that the case in Sierra Leone currently?
Of course. Of course. Look at the situation will be happen with the is it London mine then call na Lunsa. Look at the one where they happen na currently. Yeah, you get forget a state must have a good democratic institutions. Again, that boils down to the fact, see, have we built our institutions to be independent? Wherein, I sorry for say this, but most times, even when security institutions want money from the states, they never go libel, they never go bigger na state na finance for and get money. So how do you think they will do their report? If this report was not sponsored by external forces, this will have never come out.
Why?
Because money not forever there for printer. Do you think other institutions don't have reports? They do. But the financing of those institutions, those test institutions, still remains a bottleneck. If I will look at the budgetary allocations to the office of the ombudsman, when you look at allocations to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, when you look at allocations to institutions, the way actually the heartbeats of democracy in Salon, you don't know the state of democracy. I know everyone go hand in a public and say, oh, even the order they give is small. Not so small is small. You know, even do for run basic office.
But why should I hesitate to say that?
Well,
you are approving our allocation, so you know how it is.
No, it is
and
not,
I don't have any reason to be hesitant. Look, me, they can't begin speak English. I'm not going to say for being hesitant.
The bio-led administration and salon democracy, what's going to be your response?
I would say currently Saudi, democracy is dead. It died long ago when we take jungle justice just the few weeks. You know, I would do a book the few hours after the call. You know, just few hours after the call elections in Salon. That first 1 year day.
Which of the elections?
The 2018 elections, where we see people not be get equals to everything. Where they say to the old then suspend one judge. Then they tell this they put Judge Don Mutuka, then take the Mutuka and go to that kind of that scenario day where every other day when you get up in the morning, it was like just like a way military coup overtake a democratic dispensation. Everything was chaotic till we begin to get a situation where people they begin feel see they are being sacked because of them belong to political parties. They are alleged then say they go rally. But today, interestingly, me on the street where I come out, chairman of the SRPP are working in state institutions. You sack somebody we then be just say then see am a go pan rally or then see am around a wear red polo. But today you own constituency chairman them, district chairman them, they are working in government. The same crime where you suspend we grab the other person for, today they do it with impunity. So the state of democracy, we don't see situation where they chase people them out of salon because they talk.
Because that's one for council. One of the key instruments them inside democracy get to do with the freedom of speech, freedom of association, the rule of law. Now, key things and way they drive democracy now every state so far. Are you assessing 3 areas in the? Are they working?
In fact, the trouble started in Parliament. You know, we unlike those days when politicians will not write. This dispensation of APC MPs will write plenty books to tell our stories. Konoale posi narrate and for we. Waiting happen at Salon, happen at Ghana, it happen at Liberia. We see how the state, how the ruling party be able to control the atmosphere and able to get a successful regime. In Ghana, for 5 years, now the opposition hold speakership in the parliament. Where? And the policeman then go to in the parliament. That was the burial of democracy in that sacred house of parliament. We see a situation where, for the very first time, parliamentarians were replaced without elections. You call that a democracy. We see a situation where they impose a PR on the people living in West. I just use Western area for 12 constituencies in Western area with no MPs. How do you expect? Okay, you expect the MP within our where he said na Lumley for can cover an issue effectively na Congo water na Shell. If there is a crisis, when democrats they say government of the people, by the people, and of the people, the representation should come from the people. Today, I have the cover Mambolo all the way from Masongbala. How effectively you think say I go did it? Most communication line with the people and go get with me.
These reports where you don't see, so where they present as assessments of the state of democracy in a salon. From what you don't read, then do justice to salon democracy assessments based on the results where they pull.
No, well, for a state institution pulling this kind of reports, for me, first of all, I feel pleased. Do they cover every other thing where I think something for be covered? No. Are there other issues left in the report? Yes. Are there other issues we need to address as a nation? Yes. But the fact that this is a state institution, they get the bold mind for assess the police, they assess the judiciary, assess parliament and bring out the inept in parliament. You understand? It shows they've done a very good job. And for me, if at all government they able they continue to give them resources and they do the state of democracy all over the world, nothing that we play the access. Because now when they can report out they come out regularly, like if you talk about internal party democracy, we self as a party they begin what we say, hey, no, they how they don't count so now this. You understand? Again, when you talk about state of party, you also the report also not talk about the state of political groupings them. We like before 2023 election we had COP and how it was frustrated. You understand? He also not come in depth for tell you about the role of PPRC in killing political parties like C4C that today we don't die. You understand? The delay in matters of political parties when they get to do with the court. Because if you keep C4C the matter in a court for almost 3 years, the court hold that kind of matter there. It's not just the internal democracy of the party, but how state institutions they run political parties. Like we spent almost 3 good years in a court with the NRM situation. We come to the Alfred Peter Conte. We now almost 6 months to elections. We actually go get conventions. So the report also not talk about state institutions. And this is not interference because it's their role. It's the role of the PPRC. It's the role of the court. But again, we were able to get a situation where the state institutions like the court and the PPRC for able to speed up the matters and because they also they affect the democratic running of the state.
Let me just bring Reverend Jibril Kabo from the NCD. You don't hear what Honorable don't say. In as much as it commend the fact, say, as a state institution not able for poll such kind of reports, but there are concerns them where it don't raise regarding the findings and the reports and the areas them where on a cover. On a silence that certain areas them where in belief say on a been for don't expose if really truly on the talk about the assessment of salon democracy, make mention of the elections, and make mention of media where some journalists get issues with some institutions them where on a silence at the reports. How on a decide waiting for focus on?
Certainly, me not look at them as say there is a gap or the report is silent on this issue or that issue. If you understand the state of democracy assessment framework, when in international idea they use for do them the global state of democracy assessment, it's easy for make you relate to the findings of this report. Now, you get key areas there where in that framework they focus on. So that is why we get findings from them 10 areas there. So you know they expect one green report
of free and fair elections. So for instance, anybody where you reports like this come out about the state of salon democracy and you free and fair elections, their attention will quickly go to the past elections, so we just don't get the past immediate elections. We're not covered in that report.
So how you will say not covered? There are specific questions where the enumerators then gonna feel they ask. Probably it's about getting a comprehensive framework of the questions where they ask, the responses given will lead to this kind of reports. There was something about where Honorable mentioned about violence. He said the report silence on violence. It's just about taking a closer look at the report. Then you will not say the issue of violence is also mentioned in this report. For instance, even in this summary, we say respondent complain of victimization of people with alternative views in both ruling party and opposition controls district. So when somebody is victimized, it can be structural victimization, it can be physical one. Now it's about the details. They came for understand say most of these issues where they raise as concerns in a gap, they also find their way into this particular report. So that's what like say everything now what they talk about in democracy, we get for factor into the report. It's a perspective, and that perspective is based on existing framework. When you look at the framework in terms of the questions where they under the main theme and then the related questions, then people they respond to. When they give those responses, now they put together and make an analysis and say, when this particular question was asked, the overwhelming response was this. There could be a silent there could be a minority where they say something else. But if the report go capture for most of the time the views of the majority on them particular issues. So me not see gap per se. Almost all of the issues relating to those 10 categories, they are all issues where they border around with democracy. But we need for know this say one report cannot be as comprehensive or cover everything. And you also take into cognizance the issue of duration. If you go back to a previous report we do, you go see things that will cover what may happen in the past. But here we are in 2025, those things that are so prominent and so evident, take your time for go close a close dive into the report, you will see say the report handle them.
In terms of questioning, you make mention of one area where in one of the principles of the of democracy, the civic space, the civil space, you make mention of it. They shrink, and this is one big concern where so many people get regarding the state of democracy in a salon. What's gonna be the kind question where on a questionnaire being covered, forget the response of them people here where on they do na sampling, forget the assessment. What will be actually
that relates in particular to the operations of civil society. Noting saying that then that interface between state and non-state actors, their operation, how people see them, whether they are active or not. Now the nature of the question that I cannot be very specific now, but when the full report day, we can all come back and look at them, because what we look into right now. So my summary, the comprehensive report will entail all of the questions then and in fact I can probably after this program itself, I can even send on the idea framework from which we get this particular report. We're going to inform understand about the issues, and then go even help we get a better conversation on the matter.
You mentioned earlier on the issue we get to do with the judiciary, and one key area only country for practice better democracy.
Certainly.
Yeah. So waiting at some of the response, from the public citing issues them way they happen within the judiciary. We plenty of people on the question about the independence of the judiciary in asylum.
So taking you back to waiting and notes now about the issues that the report raise. It talk about passive bias and corruption usually that people then say as far as they're concerned, the judiciary gets issues of corruption, bias there. And they also focus attention on that long pre-trial detention and unequal access to justice, that somebody go do something, then, well, from the perspective, we say a minor issue, but that person go to detention for a very long time. These are all issues where the report raise. Then they also talk about that connection between customary law and what we call modern law. And in fact, say some term can they clash today, especially in relation to human rights issues. So all of these are concerns raised. And again, I go back to the methodology we employ. You will not see figures or percentage saying that this percentage, that's what we do when it comes to how the police they work or how the judiciary they work. Because here all we decide for doing this kind of report now for tell the story of the people. So the emphasis is more qualitative than quantitative.
So that story then the way una want for tell of the people based on waiting and tell una. The commission worried about the state of democracy in a salon based on waiting come out.
Definitely.
What are the threats them to democracy where una find out we make una worried?
So if for instance the ordinary man when you talk to a treaty tell you say feel say the judiciary corrupt free. If you say the judiciary bias, that becomes a source of concern for we. Where they points to what you would call lack of trust in state institutions. And that has been a perennial problem. But the people still are emphasizing that. We come to how police they operate, the people and get them view. All of that, nothing way, by virtue of this report we don't get, we even try for work on a rollout plan, how we formate state institutions and talk about the content of this report and what we will for do next. Not forgetting, say, for most of the things that we then raise so, where this report raise, now for make we look at the issue of reforms. How we reform we country in democracy for make things work better. Now, an aspect that now for make we left out in this conversation, where relates to rights. The report, in fact, is segment rights into two categories: the ECOSOC rights, the civil and political rights. These are things we will pay attention to. Now, fundamentally, we have a constitutional challenge, especially when it comes to the ECOSOC rights. Because if you constitution or even confer those rights, they are not rights per se in the constitution when it comes to economic, social, and cultural rights. Because they are the thing that we would look at, say, na economic and social cultural rights, then they're under Chapter 2 of the Constitution, where we call in we own constitutional terms the fundamental principles of state policy, where for guide how different institutions of the state they work for, makes you say they reflect them things and they. So education not a right per se. If you look the constitution, certain in fact, when you look at the objective of the state, whether na political objectives, the economic objective of the state, the foreign policy objective, all of them they under chapter 2. Now, somebody when they look at them from a human rights lens, go say all of those they relate to what we call ECOSOC rights. But you know, when you now go to section 14 of that same constitution, it tells you say even though these are aspirations we want for see the government to work with, you don't take anybody to court for that. The difference now if you go to chapter 3, we deal with civil and political rights. Then there you can enforce your rights by going straight to Supreme Court, pursuant to section 28. So we get a situation we say we get for look at what's in the happen. When it comes to bread and butter issue, now at the whims and caprices of the one that we're in charge. What's and when is available. If they not give you now, if you want now for going to court and say, well, they take honorable to court because we be who campaign to me tell me say everything will be all right. But honorable going to remind me say, everyone not forget to section 14 day. But if now me rights that be right for to life. If you want to deprive me of, I can go straight to Supreme Court, but not to the same with the yam and bread and butter issue.
So looking ahead, what do they recommend for the institutions them way, particularly this report they cover based on an assessment? Now,
democracy presupposes getting a conversation, a dialogue. We they approach the various institutions them. Right. And one thing I'm not for forgetting this conversation are that although not to everybody go know what's in the happen, but most of these institutions we talk about so they were part of the arrangement. Because what you do when we conceive the idea, say we need for access with democracy again, we establish a steering committee. That steering committee there, the university now then are the co-chair, University of Sierra Leone, because we believe say then things here so when the report come out. We for spreading our land institutions. But if one person represent the university, it not means everybody go know say they've been involved. Right. Parliament is strong in this report because every meeting we hold, Parliament was represented. But of course, the politician will tell you say they were not even aware because definitely when we approach Parliament, most of the time we need to go through the politicians, we go through the administration. And then now go make their arrangements say, okay, now politician will represent we or an administrator will represent we. So we don't get control over that. But Parliament has been fully involved in this thing. Various MDs, CSOs, they all did it. So even before the reports come out, some of them don't know what's in contained inside the report because when they go back and forth in this review, they don't see the drafts and how what's in there for happen eventually, even as the report they out now. So not for some people, not so surprised. Agreed for some, not surprised when they see them. And I appreciate the fact say honorable they commend the state institution for gets this kind courage for bring out this kind of report. We not go claim say we will be successful 100%, but at least we know say we reach that threshold, and it is even dependent on the framework we use. If we change the framework also based on conversation with all of the players, you go see a different outcome. We go cover different other things, but for us at this particular point in time, we're comfortable with that international idea framework. When and then they use over time for assess democracy across the world.
All right, many thanks for the program this morning. We will just come over to Honorable AKK as to the wrap up. This particular framework where Reverend Cabo just don't say nine they use from Ideas International for do this assessment. It's advisable for them stick to them from your perspective?
Well, as I say, they not get option because they not get resources. Reverend Cabo make them very clear. I say they approach many people for get sponsor for this work. Meaning it's their mandate to do, but they not get resources. And when you look at the economic and social rights, we're now part of the report with Engi, you see they also factor say issues we get for do with health, education, social welfare, maximization of the social well-being of the citizens are not being addressed. Not to basically priorities on when it comes to the rights. We find ourselves in a situation in which the bread and butter way we always talk about is being determined by what government gets. And for me, in America, I can say, with democracy and with state of current economy gets a challenge the very first year, the transition mode what we get. And even currently holding a parliament every other day with the one government on how they do the agreement with other private players. One of the things we show now, even when I hear the Minister of Information, they say, oh yes, the country they starve of resources. And the fact within the last 7 years, we've given out key government institutions where they make money for the state to private institutions. Take Zudlab, for example. Take the immigration component where they give resident permits. Take other key institutions them. And you not go don't take all the beef na the pot you give your neighbor, then you expect your man for eat chicken. No, na the bone go life. You know, so we've given up as a country most of the viable institutions. Go to Wataki, some of the agencies they work, they're not private institutions them. So the state actually is starving of resources because now so we don't make them for be. This how we don't till them for be. And you know go cook yam, you expect to get petete, a sweet petete at the pot. No. So that's the situation we find ourselves. So in that kind of state, we're not able to address most of the economic and social rights of the people. When it comes to education, we all see what happened recently. We get for struggle for ensure say we settle some of the basic things. Again, ask yourself the questions. Economically, as the economy stands, so if you pay 10,000 leons for primary school picking, if you take the max, if you go to any of them schools they are there for, even buy form for let the picking go to the school, a more expensive than even the university form. So you let alone talk about the fees. So what you pay for picking a private school, one picking per term, you pay for like a 300 picking na government school per the same time, and you expect the same quality in those schools. It can't work that way.
So without resources, you say a country not go able for practice better democracy, because we look at democracy get to do with the will of the people, the willingness of the people for adhere to certain principles then. Because from when you start, you don't mention on issues that we get for do with government not get the fund money not day, and if there is no money for one certain state institutions, it could be difficult for we get better democracy.
Okay,
is that the point?
The question is not money no day. The question is we're spending money on things that we're not relevant for the state. We're spending monies on things that we basically we can do without. For a country like Sierra Leone, actually, if I mean at the journalist and I ask you the question, do we need a private jet for the president? Is that the felt needs of Sierra Leoneans? The answer, if you put on any questionnaire, 99.9% of the Sierra Leoneans would say no. Do we have embassies that could have addressed most of the meetings so they get high power delegations and for attend? Yes. But do we have to fly there every other moment? No. So basically we're spending our resources as a state on things we know they add value to the lives of the ordinary citizens. Take for example, where you talk about under this ECOSAC right, go to the Hospital of Excellence, the Madabi Hospital of Excellence will open a Lumley. You don't get water. So imagine you own a medical facility, you don't get pipe-borne water. With I go feedback. Those are basic challenges where they affect the ordinary citizens. So, in other words, we are saying the country not get money because the things that we forget the country money, we don't privatize them to private people. When it comes to the civil and political liberties, the civil and the CSOs, you understand? For me, I have said this and I owe nobody an apology for them. Majority of the CSOs them, we don't be justified in the last appointment from 2023 to now. They were politicians. People don't in the civic space for a long time. They tell you, say, I have been a card-carrying member of this party for over 15 years. So they kill the integrity of those institutions where people will be look up to and they run up to. And one of the things was scary for we as a nation, that the fact say, Sierra Leoneans, that people will always look out for, get places for go and cry when they get problems with the state or even within communities. But if they're institutions and they're like they're CSOs, you understand? Today, most of them, the people have lost that kind of confidence in them. You just ask yourself the question, what is left for the ordinary citizens? So, I know, one thing I know will go against it all, this report, now the part of parliament. This is how we talk about parliament. But again, I will say this. If we continue a PR system where the member of parliament not get a direct commitment to a constituency, waiting then at this report, so I want to see currently at the parliament, when people don't go parliament, they don't care, because as far as I'm concerned, as long as I not go and I not day above the 30 days, where then give me say if I not attend sittings, I go lost my seat. As sure say I have a very good relationship with my people in my party, I will come back to parliament definitely. So the PR is a conversation we seriously as a country get for talk about, say, because the only hope what the people get for participate in democracy after voting at the parliament. So if that parliament again not reflects their wish, if APC give me a symbol, the people in Amasungba are not think say they're comfortable with me, they can shoot an independent candidate. We see them throughout the years, and I think that is good for our democracy.
In relation to that, maybe,
Quickly, because of the
yeah, we don't. We begin not conduct.
You have the ideas.
The concept is available.
You have the ideas.
Parliament should give us the necessary support so that many people then decide, say, now this we want.
It is sincerely, Mabel, it's a good one. The truth is, there is no way, no parts in the world where you want. Democracy is by type and by brand. For we Naya, the acceptable brand now where the people believe say they can hold you accountable for serving them. And the people also believe, say, if you don't do justice to them, then self gets away. You understand? For hold you accountable as a parliament. But if you take that away from the people, then
all of them concerns and the many thanks for the program this morning. Today we've been get Reverend Jibril Kabo from the NCD National Commission for Democracy and also Honorable AKK from the APC, as we've been looking at a report with them pull on the assessment of democracy in a salon. And according to the reports, now a mixed bag, also progress day, but also challenges and day to salon democracy. And I think we want to study this morning. And earlier in the program, we look at the issue we get for do with the suspension of of Justice Holloway. We see State House Communication being come out say them suspend them. We will definitely go for Fentem for look at in-depth analysis of that particular issue day. And quickly from Melvin, where we've been talking to a colleague journalist regarding that issue, the way they make comments on. Melvin say, please let me correct myself by retracting that the 1967 removal of Justice Cole was under Albert Magai and not Shekhar Stevens as it been stated. A go further for say, however, a similar move was taken in 2010 under Ernest Koroma against Justice Holloway and Alusa Nsisi as High Court judges. Well, now that retraction there from Melvin, we go wrap up this edition of the Breakfast Show. Many thanks. So una always continue for like, share, and send una message them na the different platform them osai una can watch we. Until we meet again, I want to say many thanks to the production team. Na Musa Saukuruma make una see we live. And until we meet again, me welcome to say goodbye.
And many thanks to you, Wade, on sending the message, but we're not able for read them for sake at the time. And just continue for watch Liberty Television throughout the day as we get plenty content them for drop now with different social media handles them. And me, Alhassan Kumar, wish you a pleasant day.
develop city, then clean. All clean city, develop.
This is Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. And today, I want to talk to Freetonians about sanitation. We objective, transform Freetown, transforming lives. We not go able to achieve them if we all not join hand. Freetown City Council get role, but every Freetonian also get responsibility. Let we start first with the fact say FCC with the sweep 110 major streets every single morning from Monday to Saturday. But when we don't sweep the streets, if Freetonians then come and they continue for heap dirty in the street, they make the place look fine. Now make we get them litter bins them. The yellow bins we wanna go see around. So when you waka, you drink from your water bottle, your water plastic, you eat your packets on tin. Not even a ground where you done. Make sure say you put on one of them bins then they. That litter bin they. There for you host dirty. Mean say if you pack you host dirty, you can pin her next to the bins them. Not to the idea that. Not give you host dirty to them one way the Allah say clean salon, clean salon. No say that dirty way they collect now you host. Get for Karango now the one of the two official sites. They Karango Kisi Bome, they Karango King Tom Bome. It turns so it left on the ground. And now we council get a problem, but you self get a problem because now front somebody else in Domot, your own dirty don't end up. So wait you for do with your host dirty. We get the one then a council when we don't certify. Say then approved waste providers. Then they on tricycles, some of them they a vehicle. You will get host, you will get business, you in a hospital, institution, everybody for make sure say their waste collected by an approved FCC waste collector. We get the tricycle groups, we get the companies. So you go see them around. We engage with them on a regular basis. And wait till we go do now as we come into this new year. Now for make sure say FCC stand behind them for you for no outside and day and for let themselves go to you so that we not go get a gap. When you heap dirty in a gutter, it end up na Lumley Beach, Toke Beach. All the tourism ambition where we get for the city, we lost that potential there. FCC, they spend boku money pan dirty business. The fuel, the labor, the vehicle maintenance, the spare parts, the night operations, the illegal dump site clearing where we get for the do every now and then. All that boku money. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna spend anything, but we're going to reduce some. If Freetonians then do the right thing. Because we not gonna get for go clear illegal dump sites. We not gonna get for sweep as many streets and spend as long. So if we reduce that money we spend now on dirty business, we go able put some on development. We all want for improving municipal schools. We want improving markets them. We want for let we see new developments at the city. That money we will use for dirty business. You and while we all make up we mind. Pay.
You are watching Liberty Breakfast Show on Liberty Online TV.